Everyone, I'm your cricket critic, and today I'm going to be talking to you about Gun and Moore. I have these two lovely bats that I've ordered. One is for myself and one is for my teammate. So these are brand new bats, they've never been used yet, so it's a good opportunity for me to talk to you a little bit about this company. So this is the GM Neon 808 bat. This is actually from their last year's range, which is the 2018. If you have a look at the catalog, it's readily available online. You can have a look at it there. So the 808 is their the top grade 2 range. They have a lot of different ranges and a lot of different grades. So all the way from the top, there's the player edition bats, then there's the original limited edition, then there's original, then there is 909, and all those are the grade 1 bats, and those are followed by the grade 2, which starts with the 808, and then there is 707 and signature. These three are their grade 2 bats, and the 808 is the highest end in the grade 2 range. So the Neon is actually one of their biggest specs wise bat. It's got middle. It's not high, it's not low, it's mid. It's got a nice duckbill toe and very little wood taken out. Now the important thing about GM is that how professional and how consistent they are. If you were to measure these bats up using this, you will not find a difference of even a single millimeter. That is how consistent they are. That is what I really love about GM, is that in today's age, when a lot of people buy bats online, so it's actually usually it's a bit of a gamble. You don't know what you're gonna get, but I feel with Gun and Moore, it's really made easy for us to order online, because you can just have a look at their catalog, you can have a look at the grade, you can have a look at which profile you want, and out of, if you had 15 or 20 GM Neon bats in front of you, they would have the exact same specs, measurements, everything. The only difference will be the looks of the wood and the weight of the wood, because as you know, wood is a natural product, but they're all cut down to the same size and the same profile. So that is what I really love about Gun and Moore. So the Neon is actually a 2020 specialist bat that they promote. It's actually got a 1-inch shorter blade and a 1-inch longer handle than a standard short handle bat. You can see it's written here somewhere. Yeah, L540 is the blade size. It's 540 millimeters, and the handle is actually 1 inch longer than usual. So we'll spend time on both of the bats, but we'll talk about this one first. So if you don't know about this, the 808 range is actually starting of their 5-star range, which they say. So they actually spend a little bit more time on it, and their 5-star ranges always come up with a pickup index, which you can see here. Yeah, so not only do they spend time with the bats, they actually help the customer as well, that if you're looking for a bat, they say that don't just look at the dead weight, look at the pickup index, how it feels in your hand. So in the case of this one, the pickup index is at 3, so it's a good balance between power hitting and controlled stroke play. So this particular bat, it's got 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 grains. They're very straight and they're very evenly spaced. There's a couple of specks here, which is why it's been graded down to grade 2, and there's a thin strip of hardwood on the left-hander's outside edge. Now this particular bat, on the scales, it's 2 pounds and about 9, a little bit more than 9 ounces, so it's about, you can say it's 2 pound 9. In the hand, it feels really good because of the duckbill toe. That really helps the pickup. It's got a single grip. It feels like a 2/8 bat to me. It's really well balanced. The handle is semi-oval and it's quite thick and grippy. So if you're a guy who likes thick handles, you don't need to apply a second grip. I mean, you could still apply a second grip on it if you want, but I don't really think a second grip is needed on this because the handle is actually quite thick already. But if you got, you know, very big giant hands, then maybe you'd want to apply a second grip on it. So specs wise, you know, both bats are identical. The edges are about 38 millimeters. I have the vernier with me. So the edges are peaking at about 37.7 millimeters. You can say 38 millimeter edges, and the spine is about 64 millimeters. Yeah, it's about 63 millimeters, and that is absolutely identical on both of these bats. So they're pretty big specs. It's you know, UK made bats, they're traditionally not very huge, but this particular you know, model from GM, the Neon, they're pretty big bats. There's very little wood taken out, as you can see. It's very minimal concaving, and it's a duck-bill toe, so the toe is pretty flat over here. The sweet spot is mid, so it's very good if you have you know, it's pretty much for all-round play. You know, it's good for back foot shots as well, and it's good for drives as well. It's going to be especially you know, useful for you if you're playing on high bounce wickets. So, you know, cement cricket, ball bounces a lot, so this bat is really suitable for that kind of cricket as well. Press wise, GM, they're actually quite famous for pressing their bats a little hard. It has a very crunchy sound to it. They don't press their bats soft, and GM are actually one of the only companies which hand knock their bats in the factory itself. If you have a look at their catalog, GM Now, you know, you can look it up on Google, and you know, you can even watch it on YouTube. They actually hand knock individual bats in you know, their factory. So the bats are actually knocked. You can see the edges are rounded. It has been oiled, it has been knocked, and there has been a scuff sheet applied on it. I would still not take it directly to the match. I would still you know, just knock in the toe a little bit more and just take it to the nets and just, you know, start using it in the nets, throwdowns, and you know, good nets. Traditionally, GM bats take some time to open up, but once they open up, boy do they open up. These bats are gonna be absolutely monstrous, and you know, the longevity of these bats are really good. I am really impressed. I have used GM bats before as well. They are very durable, and I really respect GM for doing that. They're actually also one of the only few remaining big brands that still manufacture all their bats in UK. It's actually written here as well, English Willow, handmade in England by Gun & Moore since 1885. So if you have a look at most of the other brands like Kookaburra, Grey Nichols, Puma, Adidas, all their bats are actually manufactured in India, but Gun & Moore, they still make all their bats in the UK. So without further ado, I'm gonna bounce the old ball on this one. You can see that it has been knocked, and you can see that it's really good. The ping is really good all over the place. This is low, this is high, and this is the middle where it's absolutely flying. But I think this bat still needs some time in the nets to open up. With the new ball, I don't know if you can see, but there are actually no seam marks. So you know, that is also evidence that these bats have been hand knocked by Gun & Moore in the factory. You can see the ping is really nice. It's nice and crunchy. It's not soft pressed, it's pressed really good, and I think they won't take that long to open up. So this is bat number 1, and this is the other bat. This is also 808, And this one actually has no heartwood, but it has slightly less grains. It's 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 grains. Is very nice and straight and even. There's a couple of specks here and there. I think the only reason this bat has been graded down to grade 2 is because of this small, I don't know what it is actually. It's a small mark, maybe some kind of growth that happened here. I'm not sure, but this actually probably is the only reason why this is a grade 2. Otherwise this is definitely a grade 1 bat. The pickup index on this is actually 1. So this is actually, as per Gun & Moore, this bat is actually ideal for batsmen who like to place their shots and control their shots and play controlled strokes. So that is actually how they help you out in selecting a bat. These are actually the same bats, but the pickup index is different because this bat is actually quite a lot lighter. It is exactly the same specs, very little wood taken out, same 38 mm edges and 63 mm spine, same duckbill toe. But this bat on the scales is actually 2 pounds 7.8 ounces, and in the hands it actually feels its weight. It's actually already quite light, so it also feels light as it is. So if I were to choose between these two, the pickup, I would not be able to tell much of a difference, even though there is about an ounce and a half difference in the dead weight, but the pickup is nearly identical for both of them. So this bat, the pressing is also the same. I'll bounce the old ball and then I will bounce the new ball. So ping wise, I think personally the other one is slightly better at the start, but I think once this one opens up as well, I think this is going to be a really good bat as well. There's not much of a difference in ping, but I gotta be honest, the other one is slightly better off the shelf because these bats haven't been used yet. Over time, I think both of them will be equally good, but as of now, I feel the other one has a slightly better ping. This is with the new ball. You can hear the sound is really nice. These bats are knocked in. I would still spend a little bit time on the toe and take it to the nets. So as I mentioned before, I ordered these bats from the UK. One is for me, one is for my teammate, and I'm gonna make him choose whichever one he wants. These bats are actually very straight. There's very little bow on them. That is very traditional of English bats. They like to keep their bats straight and not have too much bow on them. So these bats were actually ordered online, and you'd be surprised how affordable they are. People have this misconception that UK made bats and big brand bats, they're quite expensive, but Gun & Moore are actually one of the most price friendly brands out there. You would be surprised, you would be really surprised how affordable these bats actually are, and they're actually really good as well. So I would really recommend you have a look at Gun & Moore. They're one of the best companies out there. Their handles are quite famous. It's been famously said by a lot of people that once you go for a Gun & Moore bat, you will not want any other bat ever again. So there you have it, guys. These are the GM Neon 808 cricket bats. I hope you guys like it. And if you want any more information about these bats, then you just let me know. Thanks.